Welcome to a story that can change your life. This is not a history lesson. This is not about machines or companies. This is a true story about belief, the kind of belief that survives failure, rejection, and loneliness. This is the story of a man who came from nothing. No money, no support, no connections. People laughed at him and said, "You're just a farm boy. Stop dreaming. No one needs cars. We have horses." But he didn't stop. He didn't doubt. Something inside him whispered, "You were born to build something that will outlive you." And he did. His name was Henry Ford, the man who made the world move. Before him, travel was slow and expensive. Only the rich could dream of owning a car. After him, cars became so simple and affordable that even a factory worker could own one. He didn't just build cars, he changed society, work, travel, freedom, and the future. But this story isn't just about what he built. It's about how he built himself from pain, fear, and total failure. It's about how ordinary moments shaped an extraordinary life. It's about how a young boy, surrounded by mud, fields, and silence, found clarity inside the noise of machines and the darkness of loss. And if you stay with this story, you will learn how to rebuild yourself with no excuses, while learning real, emotional English that stays in your heart. Henry Ford was born on July 30, 1863, in a small farming village in Michigan, USA. His father, William, was a hardworking farmer. His mother, Mary, was warm, kind, and the light of Henry's life. From the outside, Henry looked like a normal farm boy. He woke up early, fed animals, carried water, chopped wood. But inside, he felt different. He hated slow, tiring farm work. He always wondered, why do we do everything by hand? Why is life so slow? There must be a better way. His life changed at age 12 when he saw his first steam engine. It roared, hissed, and moved like magic. A machine was doing in minutes what men did in hours. Henry stood there for hours, mesmerized. From that day, he knew one thing: I want to build machines that change the world. He began collecting old watches, scrap metal, and broken parts. By age 15, he had built a small working steam engine in a shed by himself. People were shocked. His father didn't understand and wanted him to be a farmer. But Henry's heart had already chosen a different path. Then tragedy struck. At age 13, Henry's mother died, the only person who believed in his dreams. He was heartbroken, lost, but he remembered her words. "Henry, never stop following the light inside you." That one sentence became his fuel for life. Every time he failed, he remembered her voice. Every time people mocked him, he remembered her smile. Every time he felt weak, he remembered her belief. At 16, he made the biggest decision of his life. He packed a small bag, left his family farm, and walked toward a new world, Detroit. Detroit was loud, fast, and full of machines. Exactly what he needed. He became an apprentice machinist, working 10-12 hours a day for just $2.50 a week. But he didn't care. He wasn't working for money. He was working for a future he could see, even when no one else could. Detroit changed Henry. The noise of factories became music to him. The smell of oil and metal felt like hope. He watched every machine carefully, like a student watching a great teacher. After work, when others rested, he kept learning. He read simple books, opened broken engines, and failed again and again. But each failure made him calmer, stronger, and clearer. He began to understand a powerful truth. Machines break, plans fail, people doubt you. But if you do not quit, your dream slowly starts to move, just like a small engine coming to life. The tall buildings, the smell of oil, the sound of engines, this was the world he had dreamed of as a boy. He worked day and night, fixing machines, studying gears, bolts, and engines. Every time a machine broke, Henry didn't just repair it. He opened it, studied it, and asked, "How can I make this better?" He was not just working with his hands. He was training his mind. Henry didn't waste nights. After working 12 hours in the workshop, he spent evenings experimenting in rented rooms, building small engines from scrap metal. People thought he was crazy. "Why don't you sleep? Why do you work so much?" Engines will never replace horses. Henry simply smiled. One day machines will move the world. He didn't argue. He worked. And slowly, Detroit began shaping him into something powerful, an inventor with endless patience and unshakable belief. He learned how engines breathe, how machines think, and how steel listens to the hands of a determined man. Every mistake taught him something. Every failure sharpened him. Every long night brought him closer to the future he saw so clearly. Sometimes he felt tired, sometimes the money was less, and sometimes nothing worked. But Henry never stopped. He told himself, if I quit now, the dream will die. If I continue, the dream will grow. So he chose to continue every single day. In 1893, after years of struggle, Henry finally built something extraordinary. A simple gasoline engine that worked. He connected it to a table. It shook. It coughed. It sputtered. Then it came alive. That sound changed everything. Henry whispered to himself, "This is the future." His wife Clara, the woman who always stood with him, believed in him even when the world didn't. "If this is your dream," she told him, "then I'm with you." With her support, Henry built his first small car in 1896. He called it the quadricycle. It had no roof, no doors, just 4 bicycle wheels and an engine. But it moved, and that movement was enough. People stared as the strange little machine rolled down the street. Some laughed. Some clapped. Some said it was dangerous. Henry didn't care. He saw the future in motion. He also knew something powerful. The world laughs at new ideas before accepting them. Success didn't come easily. Henry joined a company called the Detroit Automobile Company. But the investors wanted quick money, not innovation. Henry wanted perfection. He improved the design again and again, and the investors lost patience. They shut the company down. His first company ended in failure. But Henry wasn't broken. He said, "Failure is only the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently." And he lived by those words. He tried again with the Henry Ford Company. But when investors forced him to build expensive cars only for rich people, Henry refused. He walked away from his own company. People said he was a fool. People said he would never succeed. People said he didn't understand business. But Henry understood something deeper. If you make something for the rich, only the rich will use it. If you make something for everyone, the world will use it. So he started again from zero, third time, with one mission in mind. Build a simple, strong, affordable car for every family. This mission gave birth to something the world had never seen before. A dream big enough to move mankind forward. Henry didn't know it yet, but he was about to change history forever. Henry Ford was 40 years old, an age where most people give up on big dreams. But Henry was just getting started. He opened his third company, the one that carried his name proudly. The Ford Motor Company. He had a simple, brave vision. I will build a car for the everyday man. A car so reliable that farmers can use it. So cheap that workers can buy it. So simple that anyone can drive it. People laughed. Investors doubted. Competitors mocked him. But Henry didn't listen. He was not building a car. He was building a revolution. On October 1, 1908, something historic happened. Henry introduced a car that would change the world forever. The Model T. It was strong. It was simple. It could drive on rough roads, muddy roads, farm roads. It was easy to repair, easy to drive, and most importantly, it was affordable. People didn't just buy the Model T, they loved it. They trusted it. In villages, towns, and cities, families lined up to own one. For the first time in history, the car became a part of everyday life. The Model T was a success beyond anything Henry imagined. But there was a big problem. People wanted millions of cars, and factories could not build them fast enough. Henry thought for days, walked in circles, worked late nights. How do we build more cars, faster, cheaper, and better? Then he got an idea. A simple idea that changed everything. What if the car doesn't move? What if the workers move around the car? This idea became one of the greatest inventions in industrial history. In 1913, Henry Ford created the world's first moving assembly line. Instead of building one whole car at a time, each worker performed one small task, while the car moved slowly from station to station. The results were unbelievable. A car that used to take 12 hours to build was now finished in 90 minutes. Costs dropped. Speed increased. Workers earned better salaries. And ordinary people finally had real access to cars. Henry had not only built a machine, he had built a system that changed global manufacturing forever. This invention became the foundation of modern factories. From electronics to airplanes, from toys to tractors. By 1914, more than half of all cars in the world were Model T to Kes. An entire generation learned to drive because of Henry Ford. Farmers, workers, teachers, shopkeepers, everyone could dream of owning a car. Henry didn't just change transportation. He changed the rhythm of life. He changed time itself. He made movement affordable. He proved one thing with absolute clarity. When you build for the many will build your legacy. By 1914, Henry Ford was not just a businessman. He was a global force. The Model T ruled the roads. The assembly line shocked the world. And the Ford Motor Company became one of the most powerful companies in America. But great success always brings great pressure. Factories in the early 1900s were harsh places. Long hours, low pay, tired workers. Most companies treated workers as replaceable machines. But Henry saw things differently. If a man builds a car, he said, he should be able to buy a car. In 1914, he made a decision that shocked the world. He doubled the workers' wage to $5 a day. Almost unheard of at that time. This simple decision changed millions of lives. Workers now felt respected. They worked with pride, not fear. Families could save money, send children to school, and dream of a better future. People from across America came to work at Ford factories because they knew they would be treated fairly. Henry proved that business could be successful without forgetting the people who made it possible. His company was built on teamwork, hope, and opportunity. And that spirit inspired industries around the world. People called him crazy. Other businessmen were angry. Newspapers questioned his sanity. But something magical happened. Workers became loyal. Their lives improved. People from all over America rushed to work at Ford. The company became stronger than ever. Henry proved that treating people well is not charity. It is intelligent leadership. And yet, as Ford Motor Company grew larger, a silent enemy grew inside Henry, something far more dangerous than competitors or failures. Ego. The world praised him. Newspapers called him a genius. Billions admired him. People said he could do no wrong. Slowly, Henry began to believe he was always right. He stopped listening. He stopped changing. He started thinking the world would always love the Model T exactly as it was. And when a man stops learning, even his success begins to work against him. Henry had conquered the world, but now he was about to face the cost of his own greatness. Henry began to believe too much in his own ideas. He loved the Model T so much that he refused to change it, even when customers wanted something new. Competitors like Chevrolet and Dodge introduced faster, sleeker, modern cars. People loved those cars. Sales shifted. But Henry said, "The Model T is perfect. We don't need a new car." For 5 years, he ignored the market. And for the first time, the Ford Motor Company started losing ground. His stubbornness hurt him. It took a long time and a lot of pressure from his son Edsel for Henry to finally agree to create a new car. But this period taught the world something important. Even the greatest innovators must keep evolving. Henry Ford was brilliant, but he was also human. And he made mistakes. He was strict, sometimes too strict. He wanted control over everything inside his company. He distrusted outsiders. He often rejected advice. Some of his personal views brought criticism and controversy. His stubborn decisions sometimes caused financial losses. He was a giant, but a flawed giant. History remembers his achievements, but also the lessons from his mistakes. Talent builds success. Wisdom protects it. Stubbornness can destroy it, even with criticism and competition. Henry Ford didn't stop dreaming. He agreed finally to build a new car. A car that would replace the Model T, a car that would show the world Henry still had fire inside him. It was time for a new beginning, a new chapter, a new revolution. But for that, Henry Ford had to fight battles, not just in the market, but inside himself. By the late 1920s, the world had changed. But Henry Ford hadn't. He was still holding on to the Model T, still believing it was the perfect car, still refusing to accept that people wanted something new. But reality is stronger than belief. Sales dropped. Competitors grew. Ford was losing the crown it once held so proudly. Henry's son, Edsel Ford, a gentle visionary, kept saying, "Father, the world needs a new car. We must change." For years, Henry refused. Finally, in 1927, after 19 years of the Model T, Henry made a decision that shocked the nation. He stopped production of the most successful car in history. And in that moment, Henry understood something powerful. Change is painful, but refusing to change is even more dangerous. He realized that success is not a destination, it is a journey. Every journey needs fresh ideas, new energy, and open minds. Henry slowly began to listen again. He started learning from others, especially his son. A new car was coming, and with it, a new dream. This time, Henry knew that leadership was not only about building machines. It was about growing as a human being. It was the end of an era, but also the beginning of a new one. Henry and Edsel locked themselves inside the factory for months. They worked day and night, sketching, testing, redesigning. This time, Henry wasn't the unstoppable leader. Edsel was. Edsel pushed for style, comfort, elegance. Henry pushed for strength and reliability. Together, they created a car designed for a new world. The Model A launched in December 1927. Crowds gathered outside Ford showrooms. People stood in long lines. The excitement was electric. The Model A wasn't just a car. It was Ford's comeback. It proved that even legends must reinvent themselves. Ford Motor Company rose again. The world saw that Henry Ford was still capable of miracles, as long as he listened, evolved, and allowed new minds to shape the future. For a moment, everything looked hopeful again. But life has its own roads, some beautiful, some cruel. Edsel Ford, the son who brought modern design to Ford Motor Company, the man who balanced innovation with compassion, fell seriously ill. Stress, responsibility, and constant conflict with his father weakened him year after year. In 1943, at just 49 years old, Edsel died. Henry Ford was devastated. He lost not just his son, but his partner, his bridge to the future, the one person who dared to challenge him with love. The old Henry Ford, strong, stubborn, unbreakable, fell silent. For the first time in his life, the man who changed the world felt powerless. The machines he created kept running. The factories he built kept moving. But inside Henry, something stopped. He realized that even the greatest empire means nothing without the people you love. He said, "My greatest success was the Model T. My greatest gift was my son." Henry, old and tired, briefly returned as company president. But age had taken its toll. His memory faded. His energy weakened. His once unstoppable spirit became quiet. His grandson, Henry Ford Roman II, soon took leadership and guided the company into a bold, modern era. He brought new ideas, new systems, and a new vision. Everything the world of automobiles now needed. The Ford name continued to shine, not just because of machines, but because every generation carried the spirit of innovation. Henry Ford spent his final years walking through his museum, touching old machines, remembering the smell of oil and steel, watching visitors smile as they saw the history he had created. Sometimes he sat alone near the old quadricycle, his first car, and whispered, "From this little machine, the world began to move." In those quiet moments, he thought about life. He understood that progress needs courage, but wisdom needs kindness. He had changed the world with engines and wheels. Yet the biggest lesson he learned was about people, dreams, and time. His story showed that success is not perfect, and even great men make mistakes. But what matters is to grow, learn, and move forward. On April 7, 1947, at the age of 83, Henry Ford passed away peacefully at his home. The farm boy who once repaired watches, the young mechanic who worked for $2.50 a week, the dreamer who refused to quit, had changed the world forever. He didn't just build cars. He built opportunity. He built affordability. He built a system that powers every factory today. He built a dream that even ordinary people could touch. Most importantly, he taught us, obstacles are those frightening things you see when you take your eyes off your goal. Henry Ford's life is proof that one person's belief can move the whole world forward. It is a guide, a blueprint, a map for anyone who feels stuck, lost, or underestimated. He was not born rich, not born lucky, not born with connections or special education. He built everything from belief, curiosity, and discipline. And from his journey, we learned 6 powerful lessons. Lessons that can change your direction today. When Henry was a child, he wasn't interested in farms or fields. He felt a spark when he saw machines. That spark pulled him out of his village and into the city that changed his life. Inside every person there is a spark, a small voice that says, "This is what you were meant to do." Most people ignore it, but Henry followed it, and it took him to greatness. You have that spark too. Listen to it. Protect it. Follow it even if others don't understand. Henry didn't learn engines from books. He learned from opening, breaking, fixing, rebuilding, failing, and trying again. He learned from mistakes. He learned from curiosity. He learned because he was willing to get his hands dirty. If you want to master something, don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for the right time. Don't wait for permission. Start small. Start messy. Start now. Action creates clarity. Movement creates skill. Doing creates confidence. Henry's first car failed. His first company failed. His second company pushed him out. He lost money. He lost investors. He lost trust. But he didn't lose himself. Every failure sharpened him. Every rejection taught him. Every disappointment pushed him closer to the man he needed to become. Failure did not break him. It prepared him. He once said, "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again. This time more intelligently." If your dream feels broken, remember, it's not over unless you stop trying. Henry's strength was not in avoiding failure, but in learning how to rise every time the world pushed him down. Henry succeeded because he built for the many, not the few. A cheap car for the common man changed the world, more than any luxury invention ever could. He understood a simple truth. Greatness comes from usefulness. Whatever you create, a business, a service, a skill, a piece of art, ask yourself, how does this help people? When you solve real problems, success stops being luck and becomes the natural result of your work. But Henry also made mistakes. His biggest mistake was believing the Model T would rule forever. He became so attached to his success that he almost didn't see the future approaching. His stubbornness nearly destroyed his company. And here lies another lesson. Success is not the end, it is only a step. The world keeps changing, and we must change with it. When we stop learning, we stop growing. Henry finally understood that new ideas are not enemies. They are bridges to the future. So he opened his mind again, listened to others, and rebuilt his vision for a new world. This is why his story still guides us today. Believe, create, learn, grow, and never stop moving forward. The world keeps moving. You must too. Change is not your enemy. Change is your teacher. It pushes you, shapes you, and forces you to grow. Those who fear change stay behind. Those who embrace it create history. Henry Ford didn't become a legend in one moment. He became a legend through early mornings, late nights, thousands of failures, millions of small improvements, and an unshakable belief in his vision. Your dreams, your skills, your future. They will also grow one day at a time. Success never arrives suddenly. It comes quietly, through the discipline you repeat every single day. The question is, will you keep going long enough to see it? Henry Ford changed the world with machines, but you can change your world with persistence. You don't need money. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need someone to approve or validate your dream. You need only one thing, a belief that refuses to die. Because in the end, you are not defined by where you start. You are defined by how far you're willing to go, how much you're willing to learn, and how strongly you hold on to your purpose, even when the world doubts you. If Henry Ford could build an empire from broken engines and endless rejections, then imagine what you can build. With your courage, your effort, and your unstoppable belief. Remember, every small step matters. Even slow progress is still progress. Some days will feel heavy. Some nights will feel lonely. But if you refuse to quit, life will slowly open new doors for you. Dreams grow silently, just like seeds under the soil. And one day they rise into the light. Your journey may be long, but your strength is greater than you think. In the end, Henry Ford's life reminds us that greatness is not born in comfort but built through courage, failures, and unstoppable belief. He proved that one idea, when pursued with determination, can change the world. Ford didn't just invent a car, he created a future where progress was for everyone. On The Legends in English, we share stories like his where you can learn about inspiring lives, improve your English, and discover how ordinary people achieved extraordinary things. Tell us in the comments whose life you want to hear next, and get ready to be inspired.